Okay, so we are going to continue with our setup. So Graylog is now installed, and we can start to actually transfer some data to it. So by default, it's all just an empty database, which we can use to, which we can fill. So let's start by send my first log. This will bring us to a kind of like a documentation page telling us how we can do this on Linux, Windows, or our own applications, and like any other log file. So, so let's start by going to System and doing Inputs. So this is where we will set our inputs, and Graylog supports a bunch of different protocols. But the one we will use is one of the very well-known and very well-supported protocols, especially like in a Linux environment, and that is syslog. So we can do syslog, TCP, and UDP. I will do UDP because that seems to be mostly used. I'm not sure why, but if you're into package integrity, I guess you can take TCP, but I don't care. Now we will choose the node. So very often in a setup like this, you would have like multiple servers, multiple Graylog servers, and they would all work in a cluster. Right now we only have one, but we can click on global to allow the inputs on all the servers if we had like more, but now we only have one, so it doesn't really matter. So now we will move to just put a title on it. So we will do syslogs and a bind address. So we'll just keep it as 0000. The port, the default port for syslog is 514, as you can see right there. The issue is on Linux, by default, you have to be a elevated user in order to run a listener on a port below 1024. So the easiest way to fix this is just to change the default port to 1514, and that will work fine, I think. So I think that's it. I don't think we need to do any more changes. Okay, so we will just save this, and we will. Okay, so it has now started, and you can see there's no data coming in because we need to configure a client to actually send data to this input interface. So I will be doing it from a Kali machine. So if I go to oh there. Yeah, okay. So I will be doing it from a Kali machine. As I said, one of the benefits of using syslog is that this technique will probably work for any Linux device. I think it will also work on like Raspberry Pis and everything that's running Linux basically. But let's see. Yeah, so we need to do a few changes. Just need to get up the. If we go to this, this is actually a documentation page from Graylog, which has a lot of different ways to send traffic. So we will only care about this one. So the way we're going to do it is we will go to this file right here. We'll just do nano. We need to do sudo nano. And let's scroll all the way down to the end, and we can add this. So this is basically just a line saying which logs I want to send. So if you look in this configuration file, you will see that it encompasses a lot of different log files. So user and syslog, which is basically just the default output for all the most important logs of the system. And by adding that server at the end, we will actually tell it to, let's see, adding this line at the end, we will tell it to send the data to, we will remove that hostname, and we will put in our own IP address, which is 192.168.48, and I think it was 138, 136, 136, and as you remember, we changed the port from 514 to 1514, so just add a 1 there. Okay, so if we now do, I think we need to refresh. Let's see, restart the syslog daemon. Yeah, I can also say that if you did choose TCP when we set up a listener, you will just need to add like 2 of these. But let's see. systemctl syslog status. Oh, that's the wrong one. Syslog D? No. Oh. Or syslog. No. Okay, I'm going to find that out and I'll be right back. Okay, so it turned out the line we added previously was correct. So it was just this one. And what I did wrong was that my virtual machine was on the wrong network. So that was my mistake. But yeah, so after you created the UDP listener, the input, like we did, and then we added the line at the end. So it was only, so this last line with the IP address and the port and the format. So just like this. And restarted our syslog like this, systemctl restart syslog. Then if we go to this, we should get some data. So if we go to, let's see, stream and all messages, we can see that we have now received some data. These, we can see the hostname right there. That's the source. It's my calling machine. And then we will, next we will add a Windows machine. So yeah,